I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like. We appreciate it.
Podcast below in the description. I need to get on that as well.
And check out our friends at wineaccess.com/ham.
Wineaccess.com/ham. Send a gift today. 20% off. Send some wine.
Adam Rank, who is just a legend in the Niner community because he predicted they'd go 3-13 the year they went to the Super Bowl, and he wears it well. He wrote, for 2021 to be a success, the Niners must make the Super Bowl. And then I take that and combine it with what Warren Sharp tweeted on Tuesday, a list, for those of you who haven't seen it, winning season since 2003, and he ranked the most winning season since 2003, the New England Patriots, with 17. There's nobody with 16. There's nobody with 15. Seattle has the second most winning seasons since 2003. They have 14. Then at 13, I mean, you could guess some of these teams, right? 13 winning seasons since 03, Indy, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Seattle sneaky had a pretty good 2-decade run. Holmgren and Pete.
Yeah. The Holmgren, I think, gets forgotten probably, that this run is longer than Pete. Then we rattle down the list. 4 winning seasons since 03, Detroit, Jacksonville, San Francisco. And to me, this list by Warren Sharp highlights why Adam Rank's proclamation that it's Super Bowl or bust is incorrect. And you and I have talked about this in the Shanahan era and big picture. This organization's next first step is not go win the Super Bowl. Just because they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago doesn't mean they have to win the Super Bowl. But the standard does need to be boom or bust is great if you boom. But it's been too many busts in the last, 25 years. Now, recently there have been some high highs. But the standard this year for me is not win the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl. It's just go back to the playoffs and establish once again that you are what we think Kyle Shanahan is, as one of the best teams in the league. And by best teams, I don't mean top 3 even this year. I just mean be among the regulars that we don't worry about. We don't ever talk about, we don't spend months talking about Pittsburgh. Are they ever going to make the playoffs again? Green Bay. Is this the year they bust? The Niners have busted. They've boomed, but they've busted too much. The way we talk about them is built on four years since 03. Pretty crazy.
I actually think it symbolizes, though, kind of the NFL in the sense of from 03 to 10, the Niners were a joke. Those two teams below them on that list, for the people watching on YouTube, if you can't see, the worst team in the league was the Raiders, and the second worst team in the league was the Browns. I mean, those two teams, there's no one at 3. Cleveland's made the playoffs twice. I don't remember the other time. I know it happened, but I do remember the Raiders' time because that was when Derek broke his leg or ankle.
Connor Cook.
But the difference there is the Niners were Cleveland and the Raiders from 10 to 3 to 10, right? Tom Sula, Nolan, Jed's dad, like they were a laughingstock. I'll never forget in college when I just kind of tuned them out because they were so terrible. And the conversation, I was way more into USC and Pete and Matt Leinart, and the conversation was like, neither of them. Matt Leinert's going back to school, and Pete doesn't want to coach the Niners. Whether that was true or not, I was a college kid, but I remember that feeling very serious. Yeah. And most people were like, yeah, if I was Pete, I'd stay. I wouldn't fucking touch the Niners. And it wasn't even that crazy. And then really they've been defined by 2 coaches, right? Harbaugh and then Kyle. Like they have been kind of like a college program. Right? They have not been, even Harbaugh was loaded with Pro Bowlers. He was the star of the team. The Niners, not quite the star power, but in his one big year, they did make the Super Bowl. Kyle was the star. And it's like, when you get the right head coach, you got a chance. But back to what I've always said about Kyle, say what you want about Harbaugh, 3 of the 4 years, his roster was better when he inherited, but they were not winning before he got there. Went to the playoffs 3 or 4 years, 3 straight NFC championships, and then his shittiest year was 8-8. Like Kyle's shitty years have been drafting really high.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, ultimately look at, to me, that second line after Seattle, Indy, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. What do all those have? Like every year just feels like for 20 years, basically, those programs and organizations,
let's call them programs,
and organizations and franchises, like their fans, there's not one of those teams right now whose fan doesn't go, if this shit goes well, we definitely are in the championship game. Right?
I think, yeah, John, I would characterize it this way. Do you have a chance? There's a lot of luck that has to happen. I think I tried to buy the book, but it's not out till October. There's a new Patriots book that's coming out in October by, I don't know.
Curran? Hawley?
I don't think it's Curran. I don't think it's Hawley.
It's Wickersham.
Wickersham, yeah. Can't wait. And one of the excerpts or one of the highlights I saw was like one of the things that the Patriots have had going for them. And if you've been watching them, you know this, and it's okay to say this. I always say this. You can say a team that won a championship had luck because every team in the history of any sport that's ever won a title, except like the Dream Team, needed a little bit of, like USA softball in the 90s, needed a little bit of luck. Most championships are not won by bulldozers. Right, most championships, Alabama's needed luck. Everybody has needed luck for the most part to win a title. So there's nothing dirty about luck.
Tiger won the U.S. Open, I think, by 15 shots at Pebble Beach.
He was lucky. Could have won it by 12 and could have gotten dicey. You're right. He's in the category.
I might have those mixed up, but yeah, it's rare. I mean,
but for the most part, like
Tiger Dream Team. I mean, it doesn't happen very often.
But what I would say is you just need to be in position to have a shot for a few things to go your way, right? And that's what Indy and Green Bay and Pittsburgh and Baltimore are. And if we talk about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, we're like, God, it's kind of crazy they don't have another one. And Drew Brees, it's kind of crazy they don't have another one. It is. But they are in the mix all the time. Your fan base starts a year knowing we got a shot here. And then the postseason rolls around and we got a shot here. And that is so much of what sports is about. If you're creating a fan base, is making your fan base feel for 12 months or 8 months, we got a shot here. And then, let the chips fall where they may.
Well, if I got every Packer fan and said, instead of just your one championship the last 2 decades, I know Rodgers has been to 5 NFC championship games. Favre definitely lost, remember, to the Tom Coughlin face, that Eli Manning team one year. But I don't know if that was the NFC championship game. But, would you take away all those years to just add one extra Super Bowl? So you just have one more Super Bowl with either Favre or Rodgers, but all those years where you were just fucking good and all year long you're like, this is sweet, and our guys throwing it around and people are like, Rodgers is a beast. Would you rather just suck? Like the Browns or the Jags. Would you rather just be 4 or 5 win teams where by mid-October it's just over? I think the answer is no.
The answer is no.
Because it's sweet being in the mix.
And I'll tell you.
Especially, the answer is no when you've already won one for sure. So once you've already won one, it's like part of what I think the pushback is that makes the Niners really unique is of that 03 is basically 18 years, depending sometimes if you count it, maybe it's 19. But the Niners, really their last 10 years have been pretty good. They've been to 4 NFC championships in 10 years and 2 Super Bowls. Like, how many teams in that stretch over that period of time have accomplished that? It's been a unique little run.
It
right?
has. It has been very different. But I think the reason...
Because from 03 to 10, they were complete duds.
I think if you're going to say, John, well, with hindsight, I'd rather have the championships than all the competitive years. That's something you say with hindsight when you're thinking about arguing about, with your buddy who's a fan of another team. You're like, oh, we got 3 championships. Yeah, but no one goes, yeah, but our winning percentage over an 8-year span was .650, right? You can't win an argument like that. But if I said to think about it in the future, right? And let's try and calibrate what this hypothetical would be. In the next 10 years, your favorite team wins a Super Bowl and goes to another, but misses the playoffs in 6 of the 10 years versus... I don't know. Let's put it this way: wins 2 Super Bowls but misses the playoffs in 6 years. I don't know if the Giants missed the playoffs that much under Coughlin, but would you want your future to be next 10 years, 6 playoff misses, 2 championships, or let's say 1 playoff miss, 1 championship? Is that
the 2 championships?
No, we're talking about 6 years in which your team is not a playoff team.
I don't think the Giants would trade their.
No, I don't think they would either, because that's what happened.
They wouldn't. But it's like,
wouldn't.
But they beat Belichick and Brady twice. It's part of, to me, who they beat.
That's true.
They're run both times. It does matter. I just know this, and I defend Rodgers and the Packers all the time. They have not been a failure because they only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it. They have 6 MVPs between Favre and Rodgers. 6. Think that spans, guy, from 1995 or 6 through 2021, he was announced the MVP. And think of all the winning years. Like that is, you don't trade that. You think the Colts fans would trade all those sweet, badass years for like to be shitty that whole time, but have one extra championship? Like, no. Part of being sweet is being sweet every year. You're not going to win it every year. Like what the Dream Team and like those are all-time outliers. Even Belichick, that we're never seeing anything close to that again. I actually think that they skewed it. Like they really skewed the way people view. Like, why don't we have more chips? Like winning 1 or 2 back in the day was a big fuck. Parcells and Belichick and those Giants teams are all-time legends. They just had 2. No one's ever like, should have had 5. It's like 2 sweet. Coughlin and Eli are held to such high standard at the 2. Like, that's a big deal. The 6, like, that's what Brady's doing is like, don't even consider Tom. Tom has nothing in common with anyone else. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, they have been all-time successes. In my 35 years of life, they're on a short list of, like, all-time greats, any sport. But I think both guys kind of get nitpicked. We should have more. Rodgers didn't quite get over. No, it's like it's been pretty good. So there's a balance. But what they do different from the Niners, for example, they do go to the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Like I think Kyle just needs to go on a run of just can you just what Andy's doing now in Kansas City. Now he's raised the bar a little bit, but like no matter what these next couple years, they're going to be in the mix in the second and third round. Then, like you said, do they drop an interception? Does Patrick Mahomes roll an ankle? Who knows? But like you just know we got a chance every year to win a Super Bowl. And that's really all you can ask for. Because part of the cool part about what we do and talk about is like the anticipation leading up to it.
Right.
But here's what I know. Having now done this with you a while and seen some awful Raider and Niner teams, shitty sucks. Like really sucks.
No question.
I personally biased. It's terrible for business. It's apathetic for the fans. It stinks. When you're good and you're interesting, your fan base quadruples in size.
Well, no one likes to get together.
Because a large percentage of the people that watch your team don't care when you lose, but they do care when you win.
John, it's way more fun on a Thursday night at your favorite bar, campus, to say, good outdoor area, to talk about what you're doing Saturday, then talk about what you're doing next year, right? When your team sucks, you're spending a lot of time talking about next year. What are we going to do next year? It's like, nah, I'd rather just talk about what we're doing Saturday night. Let's talk about what we're doing on Saturday.
Yeah,
Got a concert?
You know who doesn't talk about the draft on Halloween? The Steelers, the Chiefs,
Zolak,
the Packers, Seattle, Zolak, right?
Like, would you take the
Packers?
Packers?
About the draft? You know who talks about the draft October 31st? Losers, and the people that cover losing teams. Like that's just it sucks. We've done it. I hate it.
If I said
I don't
right now,
totally hate it, as long as it might be a quarterback.
Yeah,
but now we know the Niners.
You like it more when you're drafting, at the top. If I said right now, take it or leave it, the next however many years it would be, 10, 11 years, would you take the Packers 09 to 20 for your favorite team? Or would you roll the dice that you can be better than lost a wild card game, won the Super Bowl, lost the divisional, lost the wild card, lost the conference championship, lost the divisional, lost the conference championship, missed the playoff, conference championship game. So that's one Super Bowl, 4 conference title games.
How many division championships?
Excuse me.
Do you have like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divisional championships? Won the Super Bowl as a wild card team.
So in a 10-year span, would I sign up as a fan for 7 division championships, 5 championship games, and a Super Bowl, and a quarterback that won 3 MVPs? Without fucking hesitation, you'd have to be on crack cocaine to say no to that.
12-year span. Yeah, and 2 missed playoffs. Yeah, I think you would take it too. And the fact that you win 1 Super Bowl changes the whole thing, right? That's the one
if
thing.
You were,
the Niners haven't actually won that game.
If you were a Kansas City Chief fan, right now, would you thumbs up or thumbs down that right now? So 1 more Super Bowl and all the championship
You'd probably
games.
thumbs down it, but I think it's riskier than we probably act like it is. I think it'd be pretty risky to thumbs down 1 more title. Because with Mahomes, it's like, can he win 5? It's like, maybe, but the odds are no. The odds are he's not going to win 2 more. Do you agree with that? What's more likely, he wins 2 more or none more?
With him, it's tough because he's going to be in the mix a lot. You'd say historically, you'd probably have to lean 0. If I had to put like tangible cash on it,
You'd bet two. Yeah, you'd bet 2 more if you're putting some money on it. More fun to bet that.